Okay, what's up guys? How's it going today? Rushdodge here, and I've got another World of Tanks Xbox One video for you. It's been about 3-4 months since I've done a garage video, and it is long overdue. This is definitely the first one I've done on the Xbox One, and there is a lot of new stuff in my garage. A lot of progress has been made, and very excited to finally show you guys my garage, for October here. And got this badass looking Halloween style garage here, so it just adds to the effect. And I'm gonna get started here. What I'm gonna do is go through all my normal tanks first. They do have a new little thing in the filter where you can actually turn off certain tanks that you don't want to show or see. So what I'm gonna do is keep off my premium tanks for right now, and then I'll show my premium tanks after. Alrighty, let's get started here. Yes, Chaffee. Now they just added a whole bunch of new tanks to this line, and I haven't taken out the Chaffee since they've done that. It only rolls out with tier 8 now, so I'm not sure if they altered it in some way, if it's not as good as it used to be. I think I'm still going to hold on to it regardless of whether I'm going to go down those couple tanks there and check out what's new on the American Light tank line here. Anyways, yeah, Chaffee, very fun tank, guys. I do have some videos up on it if you haven't seen it already. Like I said, I haven't checked it out since they added the new tank line. So, I'm not even sure what it's rocking anymore, how it's doing. Very fun tank though. Gonna move on to the T71. Like the Chaffee is completed, and T71 is also completed here. Gonna be moving down to the T69 as soon as I get some cash. Now, I know I got a bit of silver right now, but you'll see in my garage here that I've probably got, I don't know, I'd guess about 15 tanks that are completed right now. So I'm waiting on buying a lot of tanks right now. You guys will see that in a bit. Can definitely show you what I'm waiting for here. T69 is 2.4 million. I got about 1.2 mil right now, and it's not even on my to buy list. So I don't know. You might not see the T69 till probably around Christmas, unfortunately. But I do want to get it eventually and continue moving down this tank line. Okay, moving on to the M46 Patton, new addition to my garage. I don't believe this tank was in here in my last garage video, and I have not shown any videos on it yet. And to be honest, I've only played like one game with it too, and it wasn't even the best game. Not big on the packages that you start off with. You got this 90mm gun. Played a game with it and wasn't very happy with it, so I went ahead and researched this, and I haven't even bought this. That's why it was such a bad game. I thought I played another game with this, and I guess I didn't. Okay, well, we're gonna buy this right now, and maybe we'll have a little bit more luck in the future here. Yeah, hopefully I'll have some videos up on this tank shortly. I gotta get some equipment for it too as well. Gonna be a long grind in this tier 9 tank. Not really used to playing with mediums, but it does seem like a badass tank. Actually, we can look at this last package here quick. It does look like you're doing a ton of damage here in a bit. 390 damage in a medium tank. That's pretty sweet in my opinion. Pen's not too bad. Rate of fire is a little bit slower, but whatever. Accuracy, whatever, you can work with it. Very excited to play with this tank here. Okay, I can tell this is going to be a long video already. Just spending way too much time on tanks. I completed the M103 a long time ago, probably like a good half a year ago. Very fun tank, guys. One of my favorite heavy tanks on this tank line. This one being probably my favorite. The runner-up probably being the T29. Both very fun tanks on this tank line. Badass tank. I can show you guys quick what I'm using here. Got the 120mm gun, M58, and it's rocking about 400 damage. Yeah, like I said, very fun tank. I've got a lot of videos up with it. I probably won't have too many more videos up with it right away though, because I am working on a lot of other tanks, and to go back to a tank that I've already completed just seems like a step backwards right now. Not saying that I don't enjoy playing with it. Let's move on to the T110E5. Very fun tank, guys. I personally like the M103 only because I'm just so used to the M103 compared to this tank. This one's a little bit quicker. You know, it's a little bit smaller profile. You know what? It's almost borderline medium tank. A lot of guys have said, yeah, you gotta play it like a medium tank. Quite a bit of armor on this tank. So you know, the front of it, you got 254 millimeters on that lower plate, opposed to 203 on the front of your turret. Definitely don't want to get shot in the sides, you know, or the back. You know, that's obviously always where your weak spot is. I find that very back part of your turret, if you shoot that spot, you can get hammer racked pretty damn easy. All in all, a fun tank though, guys. Gonna move on to the T18 though. Alrighty, T18. Not much to really talk about on this thing. I keep it because World Tanks likes to give us free tier 2s every once in a while, and when they do that, everybody and their dog is playing with those tier 2s. So I like to take this tank out because I can just roll through them all, destroy them all, and I end up getting games like 9 kills, 10 kills. It's freaking awesome. That's why I hold on to this. You know, I could even show you guys the packages that you can rock in this thing. You got a tier 4 gun. It's a 70mm howitzer on a tier 2 tank destroyer. It's freaking awesome. 175 damage. Look at your rate of fire, 11.54. Now I gotta admit, this round kinda lobs. Like, it takes a while to get there, but you hit the guy at tier 2 with 175 damage. You're pretty much one-shotting these tier 2s with this tank. It's freaking awesome. And not to mention that, you know, this tank is got a lot of armor on the front, so opposing guys really have a hard time taking you out before you end up one-shotting them. It's awesome. Okay, moving on to the T25 AT. Very fun tank, guys. Finished her off there a while ago. It's another one of those tanks that I just haven't gotten around to getting rid of, and moving on to the T28. You know, kind of excited to do so, but once again, you'll see that there's a lot more tanks in my garage, and this one just doesn't take priority at the moment. Very fun, you know, line so far though. Definitely recommend it so far, and we'll move on to the T28 prototype. Yeah, this is a fun tank too, guys. You know what? I can't stand how slow it is. Very, very slow moving tank, and I find that, you know, it is fun. It does do really good. You do have a lot of armor in the front. I feel like I've had a lot harder of a time destroying enemy T28s than people have, you know, than people have destroyed me. I feel like I get my ass kicked in this tank so much. The turret seems to be like the spot to shoot. I don't know. I always get penned right on those flat spots right beside your gun mantle. For some reason. You also got to worry about that open top, depending on how you're sitting. If you're sitting on like a hill or something and you can see that open top, definitely shooting there, you're doing some easy damage. This front plate though seems to bounce like everything. It's freaking awesome. Mind you, doesn't really help too much when you're playing in those tier 9 and 10 battles, but it definitely holds its own in the tier 8 battles, that's for sure. Definitely gonna have some more videos on this tank soon. I'm gonna move on to the M53 M55, my oldest tier 9 in my garage. My favorite artillery to date. I actually put my crew from my T92 back in this tank, or in this artillery, because I don't know, I love this thing. It's fast, it does a ton of damage, it's fairly accurate, and it's got really good turret traverse. Like, if you set up in the corner, you can pretty much see the entire battlefield without having to reposition your tank. It's freaking awesome. I love it. And I do have a few videos up with it so far, so definitely go check that out if you haven't seen those before. Gonna move on to the T92. Very, very fun artillery to play with, guys. You need a lot of patience, I'm not gonna lie, but you take the time and do it right. This thing is devastating. You look for those guys that like to bunch up and park right beside each other. This thing does amazing splash damage. You got a 240 millimeter howitzer on here. Let's take a look at this quick. 240 millimeter howitzer, and you're doing like 2,250 damage. That's awesome. And that's, you know what, to be honest, that's that can be an understatement, because you're shooting high explosive rounds. When you hit somebody, you know, if you're not ammo racking them or setting them on fire, you know, you're still doing a crazy amount of damage. I think this tank, or this artillery has the potential to one-shot almost any tank in the game. Even the mouse. I think if you ammo racked or lit them on fire, you could one-shot them pretty. There's definitely a good chance of doing it. Anyways, I'm going to move on from the T92 to the Comet. Another tier 7 in my garage that is complete. This one's been complete for a long time. I haven't been able to move on to the Centurion yet. Once again, waiting on silver. And I'm going to need a lot of silver to buy all these tanks that are, you know, waiting in line right now. Comet, very fun tank, guys. Love this thing. I almost felt like it was a step down from the... Oh, geez, what is the tank before it? Holy, it's been that long, guys. Let's do this. I gotta check this out, because I honestly can't remember. Cromwell, how did I not remember that? I really like the Cromwell a lot better than the Comet. That's my personal opinion, but I'm really hoping that the Centurion, you know, picks it up. Like, I don't know. It was a fun tank. I'm not saying it was bad. Maybe it's just the fact that I don't play mediums a ton, but I did feel like the Cromwell was a funner tank. Or a more fun tank, I should say. Anyways, waiting on silver. Moving on to the Conquer. Probably one of my favorite heavy tanks. Love this thing. It held its own so well in tier 9 games. Armor isn't amazing. You know, once you get that second turret on there, or the turret that you get in the last package, I found it was bouncing a little bit more. But as far as armor goes, you're not really relying on that with this tank. What I really enjoyed about this tank was the fact that you're doing a ton of damage and you're accurate as hell. We could definitely take a look at the packages here quick. For a while you're rocking this 20 pounder, and that kind of sucked. But once you get up to that 120 millimeter gun, you got 400 damage. Your accuracy is a 0.33. That's absolutely amazing. You know, you get your crew up, you're doing about a round every 9 seconds. The pen is pretty damn good. This was a nice sniper of a heavy tank. I mean, I'm not saying you want to play it like a tank destroyer, but you could definitely do it. Really enjoyed it. And we'll move on to the FV215B. Another very fun tank, guys. Definitely moved up in armor compared to the last tank. Sorry guys, my mic just cut out during the actual recording here, so what I was showing was the difference of armor between the FV and the Conquer. One of the biggest differences I noticed when I moved up to this tank was, you know, you're getting quite a bit more armor on the FV215B. You also look at this tank, you know, not too much of a difference in the gun. However, you do have a rear-mounted turret now, and you know, you got your pros and cons with this, right? You look at this tank now and it kind of hurts your gun depression. Not that the Conquer really had the greatest gun depression as it was, but you're definitely not wanting to play any hills with this tank. One of the pros though with the rear mounted turret I found was, you know, you start getting into you know, the cliffy areas or into the town-like areas. You're able to side scrape a lot better and protect the front of your tank a lot nicer. You know, those are some of the pros and cons. Very fun tank, guys. I really enjoyed that tank line. Moving on to the Churchill gun carrier. Very fun tank destroyer. Don't really have too much on it yet, and I'll let this get back to my actual recording. Your traverse, your gun traverse or turret traverse. You know, it doesn't really have a turret on there, so to speak, but your gun traverse is very narrow. You got to readjust this tank every time you want to take a shot. However, you're doing a bit of damage. We'll take a look at the packages here quick. 32 pounder, rocking about 250. damage. Wasn't too shabby. Your accuracy's actually pretty good. Your aim time's kind of slow though, and that really sucks with that crappy gun traverse. You know, by the time somebody moves into your line of sight and drives through it, you know, you're having to readjust your tank, and then you got to worry about that 3-second aim time again. That kind of sucked. But I guess if you're focusing on a choke point, then you know it doesn't really matter. Definitely a tank to try out. Little goofy in my opinion. Maybe I should just try and get a video up with it here and actually let you guys see what it's capable of doing. I'm gonna move on to the Tortoise though. Oh yeah, love this thing. One of my favorite tanks in the game, guys. Tank destroyers, whatever. Lots of armor. There's definitely a lot of weaknesses to it though. It looks like a big pile of armor, and there is a lot of weaknesses. Those flat spots on the sides there, you can hit those. That hatch, commander's hatch right on top there, always a huge weak spot. However, this thing here has a beautiful rate of fire. We'll take a look at that quick here. Yeah, 8.44 rounds per minute was freaking awesome, and you're dealing with fast aim time, great accuracy. This thing's devastating, guys. You're rocking 400 rounds per shot, or 400 damage per shot. I don't know, you can't ask for, you know, a fancier TD. Like, you know, you get caught out in the open and this thing's looking at you, it's just taking you out. It's just taking you out now. Love it. Love this tank. Really recommend going up this tank line. And then there was the FV215B 183, also known as the Death Star. This is my feel-good tank. You know, honestly, if I could put one of those inscriptions on the side, I would put feel good. I don't think they have that though, because it's crazy. You don't rock normal rounds in this thing. You fire Hesh. Love the Hesh rounds. If you penetrate them, you're pretty much one-shotting them. It's absolutely awesome. You're rocking kind of a crappy 30-second reload time, but whatever. You got a tank destroyer here. You got a sniper. You're sitting in the back and you're shooting one-shotters. Shots that are gonna take out guys in one shot. I know it's kind of a cheap, I don't know, it's an OP tank kind of, because if guys play it properly, there's no reason why you shouldn't do absolutely amazing in this thing. It's just, I love it. I love it. Anyways, guys, lots of videos up with this tank on my channel. Probably going to be a ton more, because it's just one of those tanks that you don't seem to do bad in. And I'm going to move on to the Crusader SP. Currently working on this little artillery. It's got a different feeling from all the others. Like the M12, you know, it kind of looks similar, but I found the M12 to be more of a desirable artillery. You know, and then you can start comparing it to, I guess, like the French arty. Mind you, I didn't really care for the French arty until I got like to the higher ends, I guess, the higher tiers. Except for that tier 6 of French arty. Love that thing. I don't know, it's a little different. And it's definitely huge jumping from like the Burt, you know, to this thing. It's I don't know. I really enjoyed the first two tanks before this, like the Bison, not the Bison, the Bishop and the Burt were a lot more fun to play with than this thing. Really looking forward to the RDs coming up though. I guess I'll just kind of grind through this and see what happens. Anyways, moving on to the VK 28.01. Yes, I haven't played with it yet. I'm not even gonna say I have. I'm not even sure. Yeah, I don't even know if I free experienced that. Whatever. A little bit of a grind to get to the tier 7 here. I'll do it someday. I just got so many darn tanks, guys. I really don't got anything to say about this thing right now. VK 30.01D. Well, yeah, there's another one. I must have played with it a little bit. If I did, I can't remember playing with it. Kind of a fun looking little tank. Looks fast anyways, I'm not sure. Don't really got much to say about it until I get some experience with it. So we'll move on to the Panther, which is finished. Another tier 7 tank that is just, waiting to go to the Panther 2. Very fun tank, guys. Love the accuracy this thing brings to the table, and you know, it's one of those medium tanks that I find that actually has a little bit of armor compared to other medium tanks. Mind you, I haven't really ventured up too far down the Soviet medium tank lines yet, and I know those things always got amazing turrets. You know, always seem to bounce off the Soviet turrets, so I'm just going with the experience I have right now. Panther, a lot of fun. Can't wait to get the Panther 2, and hopefully I'll get some videos up with the Panther 2 fairly soon. Tiger P, still working on this tank. You know what? It's not too bad. I don't know. It's not my favorite, but I'm not going to say it's bad at all. I mean, it's got a lot of armor in the front. Seems to be fairly accurate. German tanks always seem to be fairly accurate. We'll see what we're rocking here. 0.34 for accuracy, so you know, that's pretty damn decent. Your damage is, you know, not too bad. Your pen is okay, rate of fire is okay. It is what it is. I'm not gonna say it's an amazing tank, but I'm not gonna say it doesn't do the job. Gonna move on to the Tiger 2, which I'm slowly grinding, guys. I think I just got another package here. You know, it's not bad. I don't seem to have bad games in it. I just haven't played a lot of games with it yet, so you know, I don't have those stories like other people have where it's like, oh, you know, this tank's amazing, as I just haven't had the gameplays with it yet. We'll take a look at the packages, see how far away I am. I got this one right now, I guess. 320 damage. You know, it is what it is. It seems kind of mediocre still at this point, but I know once you move up to this, it might be a little bit better. I don't know, it just seems like when it comes to damage and all that, you know, you gotta work for it. I do like the fact that this tank has quite a bit of armor. 185 millimeters, 150 on the front, that lower plate. I always aim for the lower plate when I go up against this tank. That or that hatch on top. I know the round, or it's kind of a smaller hatch to try and hit, but that's kind of what you want to go for. If you're going up against this tank and you're shooting at the front of the turret, I find you're always bouncing, so it's got a beautiful turret long as you're facing your enemy. Just going by experience, guys. Like I said, I haven't really had the gameplays with this tank yet. Let's move on to the Jagdpanther. I think I'm still working on it. Had to think for a second here. You do have the last... No, I don't. Ooh, we get a 10.5 centimeter opposed to an 8.8. 320. Wow, that's a jump. Okay, well, I'm excited to get that now. I'm not really sure which way I'm going to go, though. If I'm going to go this with the Jagdpanther 2, or if I'm going to hit the Ferdinand. The Ferdinand, for me, always seems to be the harder tank to go up against, though. So I don't know. Like, you guys could definitely comment below and let me know what you guys feel I should go for. Maybe I should go for them both. I don't know. I'm thinking Ferdinand right now, though, guys. Let me know what you think. Should have this tank, you know, on its way there soon. Yeah, it doesn't look like I have any experience on it, so I got a little bit of a grind left here. Hopefully I'll have a video up on it fairly shortly once we get a little bit more experience with it. Oh yes, and the tank I'm currently grinding the hell out of right now. I think I've put up like 4 videos in a row with this thing, and it is absolutely awesome. I love it. Finally got some camouflage for it. I was being cheap for a very long time and just being like, oh well, I'm busy, there's no point of buying camouflage for it. Well, yeah, I finally did it. Looks kind of sexy now. Let's take a look at the packages here. Now, I haven't bought this one, and I don't think I'm going to. You look at it, look at the damage. The damage is 750 per shot, which is absolutely awesome. What's kind of turning me off of it, though, guys, is the penetration is 235, which is still not bad. Your rate of fire is only 3.75, though, which is like 16, 17 seconds per round, which is way too slow. And I'm rocking the 12.8 right now, and you look at it, the accuracy is better, the aim time is better, your penetration is like 40 millimeters better, your rate of fire is a heck of a lot better, and you're only sacrificing about 190 damage per shot, and you're getting more rounds off per minute, so it just makes more sense to stick with this gun. So it's one of those things where I haven't tried this package. I don't know if maybe I'm missing out on something. Maybe there's something you guys know that I don't know, but I don't plan on spending 64,000 on this package just to get that little bit of extra damage, and then, you know, start lacking on the rest of its potential. So I don't know. I think I'm just gonna stick with this and rock out until we hit the Waffentrager off E100. Anyways, guys, that is that tank. Hopefully I'll kind of take a break with some videos on it. I just seem to, well, I don't know, I just play with it a lot because I want to get it done, right? It's a grind. Moving on to the Hummel. Slowly play with it. You know, I seem to play with it a lot more because it sits right beside the Waffentrager. So it's like, oh, I died. Well, let's play with the Hummel. Need a feel-good game where I can just sit in the back and shoot shit from a distance. It is a fun little arty. I don't know. I don't have bad games with it, but I don't have like amazing games with it either. It seems to be able to do quite a bit of damage. I've taken out some bigger tanks with it before. We'll see what's left here. Rocking that last package. 61,000, so we got about 35,000 left to go until we're rocking the tier 7. Let's move on to the AMX 12T. I haven't played with this tank a lot in the last couple months, honestly. I can't even remember what it's like. I do know that it is a ton of fun. Why am I looking at the armor? Let's go into packages here. It is fully upgraded. Nice rate of fire. I think it has an autoloader on it. I can't remember. You know, it's not a bad little tank. The only thing I found is that it could be a little faster, but that's just me. You know what? Once I get some gameplays in with it, maybe I'll try and get a video up there for you guys. I'm just going to move along to the ARL 44. Tier 6 heavy tank on the French side. I've got, I think, like the second package or so. Oh, what am I doing? What am I doing? So, oh, third package. 90mm. So, I mean, you're rocking a tier 7 gun on a tier 6. I do know that there's a couple more packages to go yet, and I'm not really sure. It's one of those things where you guys could definitely comment below and let me know what your experiences were like for this tank, because, like, should I be heading up this far? I mean, you get that tier 7 gun in the end, and it's still a 70mm. 240 damage, you know, 240 damage. So what's better? You definitely got a lot more penetration, which would be nice. Pen is always nice. 6 rounds per minute. You know, you're losing a bit of rate of fire. Definitely let me know in the comments below what you think I should do for this tank. Should I spend, you know, another 90,000 experience, you know, worth of grinding to get up there, or should I just rock on to the next tank? Moving to the ARL V39. You know, I've been playing with this tank quite a bit more often. Look at the big, long, long turd on the front, long gun on the front, I should say. I have had like really good games with this thing. Let's take a look at the packages here. Yeah, so you definitely can tell there's a little bit of free experience happening here. But we do have this beautiful tier 8 90mm on here, probably doing 240, right? Yeah. Good pen, once again on a tier 6 tank, so it's, you know, it is fun. I've had some good games with it. 58,500 more to go though. Lots of grinding left. Got another, I don't know, 48,000, something like that to go. I'll try and get a video up there for you guys soon. Let's rock on to the Bachat. Bachilian. Is it Bachilian? Bachelon? 155, 55, tier 9 French artillery. Definitely unique. I don't got a lot to say about this because as far as I'm concerned, it's the exact same artillery as this. And the only thing that's different is you have a autoloader on this one, which is fun. You can have a lot of fun with this artillery. Once again, a lot of patience. You have a super long reload time with this one opposed to this one. Let's just take a look at the packages here. Oh yeah, see, I was in a hurry. Didn't have that nice tier 10 Continental forward gap. What is the horsepower? 810. A little bit better. Whatever. I was in a hurry. I was in a big rush to get to the 58, so I bypassed that. Whereas you're rocking... Now, it says 1,250 damage. Honestly, I don't know. Every shot I hit with this tank, or this artillery, it seems to be like 500. You got a 4-shot autoloader. It takes like, I don't know, 48 seconds? No, probably takes longer than that. 60 seconds? 60 seconds to reload this thing. So unless, you know, you're reloaded, you're absolutely useless. Like, you can't, it's hard to defend yourself when it gets down to that last little bit, because you shoot your rounds off and you're just done. But I guess it's the same thing as the T92, where you only get 1 shot. I don't know, I have a hard time playing with this French artillery. The only thing that I find really nice about it is if, you know, it does come down to the wire, you can actually play shotgun mode pretty damn good, because once again you got that artillery, or that autoloader, and it's a little bit quicker than some of the other arties. The big thing about this arty that makes it unique from the rest of them is that turret that does 360 degrees. So you can actually start driving and turn that turret so it's facing behind you if you need to. You know, kind of allows you, when you are reloaded, to defend yourself against those pesky light tanks. Anyways, I don't even know if I have a video up of this artillery. I just don't seem to have the most spectacular games, and it just seems like, you know, you could have a spectacular game, and that 60-second reload time really makes for a long, boring gameplay. So maybe I'll try and shorten one up someday and show you some action with this thing. We're gonna move on. MT25. You know, I've played with this tank a little bit, and it's actually a lot of fun. Very fast, quick shooting little gun on there. I don't know, I like light tanks. You know, it's fast, it's good for scouting. It does the job. Maybe I'll get a video up there with it eventually. I just it's a dead end tank, or tank line. Doesn't go anywhere. It's kind of one of those little extra tanks that you can get, but it is fun. You know, if you like playing with light tanks, I definitely recommend adding it to your garage. Gonna move on to the T-34-85. Yes, you know what? It really comes down to just having too many damn tanks and not enough time to play with them all. A lot of fun. Badass looking little tank. I think it does a bit of damage for a medium tank as well. Got a couple more packages to go here. Rocking the 85 mil at the moment. 160. Great rate of fire. Wonder what this last package is like. Still a great rate of fire, and you're doing 180 damage. You know, this thing's gonna be pretty deadly once I get that last package. So once I get up there, maybe I'll get some videos up with this one as well. Let's move on to the A43 Tier 6. It is finished, waiting to move on to the next tank, Tier 7. You know what, this one was fun too. I found the damage wasn't quite as great as the T-34-85. We can definitely take a look at that quick. Last package. Yeah, your damage isn't as good, but your rate of fire is pretty damn nasty. You catch a guy off guard, or, you know, you get some nice flanking in there, you can really piss some guys off with this thing. It's absolutely awesome. The only downside I found really to it was, I guess, your pen and your accuracy. You can work with that pen. Of course, you're trying to flank anyway, so that pen usually works for you. But if you're starting to play distance, I found it starts to, you know, that 0.4 accuracy kind of starts to suck. Just personal or, you know, my experience with it, I should say. Fun tank, guys. Can't wait to move on to the Tier 7. KV-85. Now, you know, I used to have the KV-1S, and ever since they dropped this tank in my lap, I haven't played with it. I don't know if it's pretty close to the same. It looks like it still has the 122 millimeter on there. Let's take a look here. Yeah, it does have the 122 millimeter, so I just haven't played with it yet. 390 damage. It looks pretty similar anyways. I just haven't gotten around to play with it. Looks like they moved the KV-1S to Tier 5 now, so I'm not sure what the deal with that is. If it's the same tank, or if they changed it and then kind of altered this one. Because the KV-1S was always kind of an OP tank, in my opinion. so I'm not sure what they did with these tanks yet. Moving on to the IS, another tier 7, not finished it yet. Honestly, I don't know why. It's so similar to the KV-1S. You know, it does a ton of damage, and I've always, you know, done really good with the KV-1S, even in those tier 8 games. And for some reason, I just can't seem to get good games in with this tank. I don't know why. I don't know what I'm doing wrong. Let's take a look at the packages here. Yeah, like I was having a heck of a time. No, pardon me, I just didn't want to play with that. So I jumped right to the last package. Let's take a look at the last package. You're still doing that 390 damage. Your pen's, you know, not too bad. Your rate of fire is a little bit better now. I don't know why I'm having a hard time with this tank compared to the KV-1S. Maybe I just gotta play with it more. I don't know. Maybe it's exactly that. Maybe I'm bouncing around too much. Could be exactly what it is. KV-4, another tank that, you know, I'm only doing half decent in it. Like, it just, I don't know. Every time I go up against one of these things, it seems like you can never pen the damn thing. You're trying to shoot that hatch on top, doesn't work. You know, that lower plate there never seems to work, and it, you know, the armor's decent on it. You just think you'd be able to pen it. With, you know, I don't know, and it seems every time I get out there I'm getting penned every time. So what am I doing wrong, guys? Russian tanks, maybe just not used to the concept behind them. It does seem like a badass tank. I've seen guys do really damn good in it. Maybe once I get a couple more games in it, you know, my story, my tune might change a bit. Anyways, moving on to the SU-100. Now I've completed this tank once, and I'm trying to complete it again to do the other line. Let's take a look at the packages here. I haven't bought the SU-100 M1 yet, but I am trying to get enough experience to buy the SU-152 as well, just because I like to go up all the tank lines in the game simultaneously. You know, that makes sense, right? Ah, jeez. I like diversity. I like to jump around. It's just me though. SU-122A artillery, haven't played with it in probably like 5-6 months. I bought it just because I wanted to show off the tier 5, tier 6, and tier 7. You know, before it hits that tier 8, which I'm going to merge into anyways with the S51. S51, you know what, really badass artillery, guys. You know, it has a hard time defending itself when it gets up close, but I mean, I've even with that, I've managed to do quite a bit of shotgunning with this thing, even though it's got like the worst turret traverse in the world. You got to pretty much readjust your tank every time you want to take a shot. However, the big badass part about it is, where are we here? Yeah, that right there. 203mm B4. You're doing like 1,850 damage, which is ridiculous. Your rate of fire is insanely horrible. It's like, I don't know, it matches up to the T92 pretty closely. Accuracy isn't very good either. What it's got going for it is that amazing damage, and you know, your splash damage is freaking awesome as well. So you know, it's one of those tanks that are good for taking out multiple vehicles at a time. Hopefully I'll be rocking the tier 8 soon. Let's get on to the Type 58. That's just me though, eh? You know, it's like, oh, you know, every tank line in the game is at least tier 6 and higher, so we better free experience all the way up to the tier 6. Yeah, my bad. So I haven't even played with this thing yet. It just seems like you feel like you're getting somewhere, and then they add a new tank to the game. Hopefully I'll be moving up here shortly. Looks like I got a lot of grinding to go, and it seems like it splits off here too, so I'm gonna have to grind this tank twice. We'll get some videos up there when I start doing something with it. Cheeto, whatever, however you want to pronounce it. Tier 6, I've played a couple games with it. I'm pretty darn sure I did, yeah. Grinded up to this so far. Looks like the gun stays the same throughout the entire thing. You just get a little bit faster, a little bit more agile. And, whoa, look at that. Tier 10 radio. Nice. Well, that's something to look forward to. I haven't played a lot with the, I don't know, Japanese mediums yet. Like, like I said, I don't play a lot of medium tanks at the moment as it is, so it just seems to be at the end of the list right now. Someday I'll get some gameplays out with it. Holy, we got through the first half of everything. Now, how do you turn this off here? There we go. Yeah. Premium tank time. T1E6X. Alright, tier 2 T7 car. I haven't taken this thing out in a long time. This was one of those tanks I like to go around and destroy with my T18. You know what? They did do quite a bit of damage. It's got like a 50 caliber machine gun for a gun. Let's take a look at this quick. 8 down. Look at the rate of fire. 101. Oh, jeez. You know what? I don't know. I had fun in it, but it, jeez, I just, it's not for me. I don't know. I keep it because it's a premium, and it'll be funny to put up a video every once in a while with it, but that's about it. Locust. This is a fun little light tank, guys. This thing's fast. Is this thing ever fast? My favorite part about it is how fast it is. It just flies around. You know what it is? It's a tier 3 light tank. I mean, it's quick. You know, it's got a couple little perks to it, but in the end, it is what it is. I don't play with it a lot. You know, I hold on to it because of my channel. That's about it. The MTLS1G14. Now, this thing is a different story. This thing is badass. I love playing with this thing. You want to go and have a feel-good game, you take this thing out. Fairly, you know, decent armor on it. But the best part about it is definitely the gun. You got a tier 5 gun on a tier 3 tank. Now, let's look at the details. Fast rate of fire. You kind of got a slow reload time in between, you know, your clip or your mag, whatever it's shooting. Your damage is decent, but I find if you catch a guy off guard with this tank, or you're fully reloaded, and you go and shoot, you know, one tank with this tank, you'll take that tank right out, like instantly. Unload your mag on it and that tank is destroyed. So I don't know, it's pretty badass in that sense. I really enjoyed playing with it, and I haven't gotten a video up with it yet, so maybe in the near future, just because I like it so much, I'll get a video up with it soon here. Alright, let's move on to the Ripper. Scary tank, yeah. I don't know. I've had good games in it. It's a decent little medium tank. You know, it's unique. It's a rare tank. You can only get it every once in a while, so it's definitely very scary looking. I don't find it overly amazing for damage and stuff like that. It's kind of inaccurate as well. We'll take a look here. I mean, damage is okay. Your rate of fire is good. That's definitely an upside. But your accuracy, you know, 0.46. You wanna be flanking. You don't want to be fighting head on with this thing whatsoever, unless you're trying to scare them with its scary graphics. I don't think I have a video with it yet, so you know, maybe I should probably get on that. Let's move on to Fury. This is an awesome looking tank. You know, visually beautiful. You know, replica of the what is it? M4A3E8. I think that's what it is. I can't remember. Yeah, I think that's what it is. It's pretty much the same tank. The big thing with this when we could buy it was it's a beautiful looking tank. You know, it's a rare tank. It came with a whole bunch of equipment already on it. Like, all this came with the tank when you bought it, so that was a pretty damn good deal. You know, it's not a bad tank. It's, you know, your typical M4 series. Always accuracy isn't that amazing. Oh, what am I doing? There we go. 0.4, definitely better than the Ripper. Your damage, penetration's, you know, mediocre, but you still got that nice rate of fire. So I still haven't even done a video with this tank either, and I should have done it a long time ago. Stupid me. Anyways, let's move on to the M23E E3. It's got the little star here. I'm pretty sure I bought this thing like months ago, and I still haven't even played with it. I should probably do that. Pretty much looks like the T20, so I'm not sure how it compares up to it. We'll definitely figure that out someday. T26E4, super Pershing, very fun little medium tank. You know, it's borderline heavy because it's kind of a slower tank. It's still doing the same amount of damage as like your Pershing and stuff like that, but you're rocking a shit ton of armor on the front. Look at all that spaced armor on there. It's absolutely awesome. You know, this front plate, spaced armor as well. You know, very well armored tank, so very good for holding down positions, and you know, you can just push with it because guys have a hard time penning it. The only time I ever succeed in penning it is shooting it in the upper part of the turret, like in those hatches there. Very fun tank, guys. Not sure if I have any gameplays up with it yet, but we'll definitely get on that eventually. Let's move on to the T95E2. Played with it a little bit when it came out. You know, I didn't have the greatest games with it, but you know, once again, just not a huge medium tank player either. See lots of these things on the field. I'm not sure really what makes it stand out, you know, from all the other tanks, because I just don't have the experience with it yet. But once again, you know, another rare tank. I believe we bought this when Xbox One first came out, so it's sitting here. Definitely gonna get some gameplays up with it. Let's move on to the T14, one of my oldest premiums, tier 5. You know, I like this thing a lot. It's got a ton of armor. I can rely on that armor. I love relying on this armor because you can just, you know, angle it and move right in there, and I've had really good games with it. I've actually got a couple videos up with this tank as well if you want to check those out and just see how it handles. And the thing with these premium tanks is, you know, I do have a ton of them. I want to get back on the ball here. I had a couple guys ask me, when am I doing tank reviews again? Well, what I'm thinking is maybe I'll try and just start editing, and I'll just slowly edit and maybe get one up like every 2 weeks, or maybe even one every week now. That things are kind of flowing a little bit better even though I'm away. Anyways, M6A2E1, the mutant they call it. Definitely a goofy looking tank. Upside to it, I'd say the best best thing I found about it is probably the armor. Armor is really good on the front, 191 millimeters on your front. I do kind of like the high turret. I mean, you can see over quite a bit of things with this high turret. That is nice. You're rocking that, what is it, M6 chassis, which kind of sucks. You start getting shot in the side or in the back, you know, you're taking damage. This turret here, it's great for, you know, it's got a lot of armor on the front, like I said, but it sticks out like a sore thumb from the side, and you can definitely pen it from the side pretty easy. It's doing, you know, decent amount of damage. It's a fun tank, guys. You know, if you're going head on with another tank, you know, it's not a very fun tank to go up against. I don't know, do I have a video up with it? I think I do. I do have a video up with this thing. I think I got like a triple mastery gameplay with this thing, so yeah, definitely go check that out, guys. Anyways, moving on to the Matilda BP. Goofy looking little thing. Got that Matilda chassis and the Black Prince top on there. Super fast rate of fire. Great for holding down positions. It tells you that right in its description. Why I say great for holding down positions is, you know, fairly decently armored. Definitely more of a heavy tank. Very, very slow. The thing is very slow, guys. Like, moving across the game or the map or whatever, very slow. I don't recommend taking this thing on a vacation, because you will not get there anytime. I do have a gameplay up with it. Probably should get something a little bit more recent up there with it. And we'll move on to the Excelsior. Another decent little, tier 5 tank. Not doing crazy amounts of damage, doesn't have the greatest penetration either, but it has that fast rate of fire once again, and it's fairly armored. It really is. The front spot there, that flat spot there, is probably where you're going to want to shoot it. I seem to get penned there quite a bit, but you don't want to be shooting that front gun mantle, because look how thick that is. If you can protect your front fairly decent and just make it so all they can see is that front gun mantle, you can do pretty damn good with this tank. Hopefully I'll get a video up with it soon. Let's move on to the TOG. Just bought this thing recent. Look how long it is. It doesn't even fit my screen. The Land Whale, the tank limousine, I don't know, there's lots of names for it. I've taken it out. It's actually a pretty damn good tank. Lots of fun. You know what? It takes up your entire screen when you're playing with it. It looks like this when you're behind it. You're like trying to... It's funny. It's a funny tank, especially, when you're out in the field and you're trying to, like, use a rock as cover. It just doesn't work. Your ass end's hanging out. Anyways, it does do pretty good. I enjoy playing with it. We could take a look at... there's your armor. Let's take a look at the package that comes with it. 150 damage, not too shabby. Your penetration's actually pretty damn good, and you got a nice rate of fire to go with that. So, you know what? It is what it is. Hopefully I'll get a gameplay up there soon. Let's move on to the Sexton 1. Now, yeah, the story never changes, guys. I bought this thing because I was like, oh yes, I want to show British artillery, before it comes out on Xbox 360 like 2 years ago. And never ended up showing you guys that, and then it came out and I just haven't really done anything with it at all since. Very fast rate of fire for an artillery unit, but I don't know, I just don't play with it, so maybe I'll get a gameplay up there and try and show you guys what it does. I don't know. I haven't played with it. Let's move on to the Panzer, yeah, Panzer 5.4. Now this is a rare tank, and there's a lot of controversy because it is a very badass rare tank, and when it got offered again, a lot of people were upset because World of Tanks said they weren't going to offer it again, so everybody felt really special, and then they offered it again. Of course I felt really special being able to buy it. What it has going for it, guys, is it is a tier 5, and it has the highest hit points out of any tier 5, which is badass. It is a quick rate of fire, it's doing decent damage, it can really hold its own, guys. A very fun tank. Let's move on to the Panzer IV Schmaltrum. I think that's, I don't know, Schmaltrum. Fun tank, guys. I don't know, what I've kind of compared it to is like either a tier 6 heavy tank maybe, or maybe the tier 7 Panther. I don't know, like, it's very accurate. We'll take a look at the package here quick. Accuracy is 0.34, damage is decent, rate of fire is good. I'd probably consider it more of like a Panther than anything. Maybe like a, I don't know, not as good as the Panther, but pretty close to the Panther. Maybe I'm just talking shit here, I don't know. If I was going to compare it to anything, yeah, I'd compare it to the Panther. Very fun tank, guys. It's it's a sniper. It's a nice little medium. I'm not sure what the deal is with the little things on the side there. Somebody told me it helps against splash damage and stuff like that. I'm not sure if that's true. Gonna move on to the PZ-B2. Yeah, I know, I bought it. I'm pretty sure it's a rare tank too. It's got a lot of armor. It's slow because it's got a lot of armor. The gun on it is just like the B2 on the French B2. Very fast rate of fire, but I don't know, it doesn't have a lot of pen behind it, so you're basically using it for its armor and its hold down capabilities, I'm guessing. Let's take a look at the packages here. Tier 2 gun on a tier 4 tank. Let's take a look here. 0.38. Aim time is very quick, so I mean, yeah, I don't know, like, you can make that pen work, I guess. The rate of fire is awesome, so you start, you know, shooting guys in the side, you're gonna take them down. You're gonna take them down fast. But as far as going head on with other tier 4 tanks, it doesn't really do the trick. I'm thinking the big deal with this tank, guys, is the fact that it only plays up to tier 4. So you're never gonna see a tier 5 or tier 6. So maybe that's its biggest upside, I guess. I don't know. Let's move on to the Lerva, aka the Low, aka the Lion. Yeah, my favorite premium tank to date. I've had so many good games with this tank. Not very hard to make 100,000 silver in one game. It's absolutely awesome. Very fun. Don't really know what to compare it to. I just know that well, I guess you could compare it to the Tiger 2 or something like that. I mean, the turret is pretty damn good. I find you do get penned on the sides there pretty darn easy, but you know what? Like, as far as the chassis goes, it's pretty much the same thing. And you know what? If you're looking for a tier 8 premium, you know, this might be the way to go. E25, love this thing. If you want to have fun, play with this tank. This tank is fun. It's fast, it is accurate, it's got good pen, doesn't do a lot of damage, but I mean, you're firing so many rounds so quickly, and it's so low profile, and it's just it's badass. You know, it rolls with the medium tanks, guys. It's, you know, you can use it as a scout if you need to. It's awesome. I don't know how many times I've like rush tanks and they can't even shoot me just because it's lower than their turret. They can't even aim down at me sometimes. It's awesome. Very fun tank, guys. Definitely recommend adding this tank to the garage because, like I said, you're gonna have a ton of fun with it. Yag Tiger 88 centimeter. You know what? People say they have a lot of good games with it. I don't mind it. I've had good games, I've had really bad games. It's decent. It's a decent tier 8, don't get me wrong, and you can make a ton of silver with this thing as well. The only thing I don't really care for about it is, well, I don't know, I guess I'm used to so far having TDs that have a bit more traverse. Also, this tank destroyer has a, I don't like to be ignorant. Let's take a look at our package here. Oh, there we go. I don't know. I don't find that its penetration with this thing is enough. I don't know. I seem to bounce a lot of shots with this thing. It could just be me because, you know what, you're looking at these stats here and they look pretty damn good. I haven't had the luck with this thing that everybody else has had. On the upside, a lot of good reviews from other people with this tank destroyer. You know, it's not as expensive as the Lerva to buy, so you know, maybe this might be the way to go. Let's move on to the AMX Chaffee. I think the only time I've played with this tank is in the Proving Grounds, and I actually went ahead and destroyed every tank, even the tier 10, and had enough ammo at the end, so I was pretty impressed with that. It is a very quick tank. You know, it's a nice little light tank, guys. I gotta admit, I'm not sure. I haven't really played, should I say, a multiplayer game, so I'm not sure what the silver's like for the performance you're getting out of it. But you know what? I had fun in the Proving Grounds, so as far as I'm concerned, you know, it was a pretty badass tank when I played with it. Hopefully, I'll get a gameplay with it up soon. FCM 50T, another very old tank in my garage, tier 8 premium heavy tank. You definitely play with it more like a medium tank. It's actually pretty damn quick. It's still doing the damage, still has the penetration. You know, it's the only thing I found is it's lacking maybe the armor. It's very fun, but you know, it depends on your playing style. I'd say pick up this tank if you're looking for you know, more of a medium tank maybe. Let's move on to the FCM 36 pack 40. Yeah, Yeah. I've had really good games with it, guys, and I've had really bad games with it. The only reason I've had bad games with it is because, you know, usually when you're playing down tier 3, everybody's got some sort of speedy little tank, and if they get behind you, you're pretty much screwed because this thing moves pretty damn slow. As far as armor on the front, you know, not too shabby, you know, at its tier. The big thing with this thing, guys, is, let's look at the package. The gun. I love the gun on this thing. Look at the rate of fire. Your pen is more than enough for tier 3. 100 damage with that rate of fire is awesome. You got the good aim speed, aim time, I should say, and the accuracy, well, I've never really had a problem with it. I believe the last video I put up with this tank was like a 9-kill game, and if you get that position where you can just, you know, get them in a choke point, or you know they're going to be coming that way, you can wreck them so quickly with this thing. It's awesome. You know, just that downfall, right? Don't let them get around you. Artillery is going to wreck you, buddy. You got an open top, and that's not good. You're pretty much a one-shot for an arty. Very fun little tank destroyer, though, guys. Let's move on to this one. The 105, would that be LE FH1 8B2. It's an artillery. It's a rare artillery. I think it's the only rare artillery so far that they've added to this game, and you know, it's not bad. It's it doesn't have a huge traverse like turret traverse, but what I do like about it is it actually has a bit of armor. So as far as shotgunning goes, I've actually been pretty fortunate with shotgunning because I've actually had heavy tanks bounce off of me, and you don't get that a lot with artillery units. So that's I think the big thing with this thing. Great for shotgunning. Maybe not so much with depression, but the fact that it can hold its own when you got tanks coming after it. Gonna move on to the Valentine 2. I do have a premium tank review with this tank. Huge thing, plays only up to tier 4. Definitely looks like a light tank. Don't be fooled, it is a flippin' heavy tank, or at least it should be. Very, 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 very slow moving. Very, very, very well armored. Its downfall is definitely its gun. Very low penetration, and you know, its damage is really not there. You're definitely wanting to flank or just hold down positions with this thing. You can track a tank almost relentlessly with this thing, so maybe work with your artillery or your TDs. You know, it's a very different type of tank. Anyways, let's move on to the T-3488. Got this thing a long time ago. Very unique because you can train German and Soviet crews in this tank. I believe it's the only tank so far that you can do that, at least on Xbox One from my understanding. Let's also take a look at the packages here. Now there is another perk with this thing. You know, where most tanks, yeah, so that's your package right there. Most tanks, their bonus is silver, right? When you play with a premium tank, usually you're making silver. Well, this one is kind of a feel-good tank because you usually make more experience. You usually get more experience from this thing. So if you're looking for you know, if you're somebody who likes to use free experience a lot and spend money for their experience, this thing here makes a ton more experience. And what I mean by free experience, or by feel good tank, is you don't have to do nearly as good as the rest of the guys to be at the top of the charts. Like, you know, you'll get guys that got, like, say 3 kills and you only got 1 kill. Don't be surprised if you're still at the top of the charts. It's just the perks that come with this tank. Gonna move on to the Churchill 3. Another fun little tank, very similar to the British Churchill. Decently well armored. I think the best part about this tank is the rate of fire. I mean, you're shooting very, very fast. You know, you're decently well armored, so you can kind of go on the chase with this thing and just give it to that opponent. I've had games where, you know, it's guys are running away from me and I'm just following them, just pounding them with this thing. It's freaking awesome. I'll take a look at the package with this thing too. You're not doing the most amount of damage, but that 26.25 rounds per minute really is awesome. It's freaking great. So that's your upside for this tank, as well as, you know, your silver that you're making from it. I've had really good games in it, and I do have a premium tank review on this tank if you guys want to check that out. Let's move on to the KV-220, another rare heavy tank. You're definitely relying on its armor. Its armor is the thing that really comes with this. It doesn't look like it has a ton of armor, but for tier 5 it's really holding its own when it comes to you know, armor value. You got some nice sloped armor on the front here. The gun on it really isn't spectacular. Honestly, I'm not a big fan of the gun. Your pen is okay, your damage, you know, kind of low. You do got a quick rate of fire with a decent amount of armor. That's pretty much, in my opinion, what is so great about this tank. Hopefully I'll get a video up soon with it. Moving on to the KV-5, very happy that I could finally buy this thing. You know, I've had decent games with it, I've had really bad games with it. You know what, people seem to have a hard time penning it, but realistically it's not that hard to pen. You got that big R2-D2 looking turret on the front there, and I mean, you see this thing, just shoot that. Usually you can pen it, and you know, it's a huge weak spot. As far as the tank itself goes, you know, it does have quite a bit of armor, and you know, the gun's kind of mediocre. It's kind of a slower tank. I do have a video up with it. If you guys want to go check that out, definitely go do that. And hopefully I'll have a premium tank review on it soon. Let's move on to the SU-85-1. Bought this thing a while ago, haven't played with it yet. I've heard from a few people though that have it. They said it's actually pretty damn badass. Hopefully I'll get some experience in there with it soon, so I can share you know, maybe some stories and some, you know, flaws and pros and cons, you know, so to speak, about this tank. Let's move on to the SU-122-44. Another one of those tanks where you know, I wouldn't compare it to the E25, but you can definitely play it like a medium tank. Armor is okay. What really helps you is that sloped armor on the front. You can really work with that, and you'll bounce a lot of shots. What I mean by playing like a medium is it's fairly quick. It's actually pretty darn quick, little medium tanks. Don't be afraid to, you know, try and do some flanking with it. I do have a premium tank review with this tank as well, if you guys want to check that out, and hopefully I'll have some more videos up on it soon. Let's move on to the Shinukai. Yeah. Yeah, okay, I was like, yeah. I'm pretty sure this is the premium tank. Honestly, you know, it's good. I don't know, I'd say it's better than the you know, just the Shinu, I guess, but there's not a huge difference there. I'd say it's just an all-around good little medium tank. It's not, you know, it's kind of like one of those jack-of-all-trades tanks. You know, it's not great with just one or two types of things. It's kind of good just all around. I'll take a look at the packages here. Okay. Kind of a slower medium tank too, I guess. Rate of fire's, you know, decent. Pen, you know, you can work with it. I've had actually good games with it. I've also been, you know, wrecked in this tank too. So it is what it is, guys. You know what? If you like the Japanese mediums and you want something that just, you know, has a little bit more of an edge to it, maybe I'd consider getting this. I do have a gameplay up with it, but I don't have a premium tank up, or a premium tank review up with it yet. So when I do, I'll definitely, you know, have maybe a little bit more information about it. Anyways, guys, I'm sorry that this turned into like a super ass long video, but the garage videos usually do. You can definitely see there's been a lot of progress in my garage since I don't know, 4 months ago when I did my last one. And well, I'm not going to keep you guys any longer. Rushdodge here. Really appreciate you checking out another video, and until next time, take care. Alrighty guys, later.